Have you ever asked yourself a question? What will happen if the USA and Israel decide to attack Iran? What will happen? Well, in this video, I'm going to discuss about it. Because as you all know that Vladimir Putin with the BRICS members, they are attending their summit, which they usually do each and every year. And Vladimir Putin have said something very capital, that if you've been following the politics of the Middle East, you'll definitely need to understand what was the message behind what Vladimir Putin said to the president of Iran. Guys, it is very important to understand that the fight that we've been seeing in the Middle East, in Arabic regions, it had a very big hidden secret, which most of people, they don't talk about, especially the Western media. Instead, what they'll do, they'll prefer to hide the truth from you and come to distract you with some things which does not even make sense to you. But something big is about to happen in the Middle East. And if you don't pay attention to that, it's going to affect you soon or later, whether you like it or not, just because it is something which it's about to explode. And we all know that whenever there is an exploitation, it has to affect everyone who are next to it. So, Israel, they attack Iran for their own obvious reasons. They believe that Iran is a very big threat to their democracy and to their distractions as a country. And they are working with their big brother called the USA. The USA enjoy working with the Israel because in Arabic regions, there's something which the USA wants. And they've been using it for all these years. And that thing, it is petrol and oil. These things, you can't get it easily. We all know that wherever there's a land of petrol, there is a lot of conflict. Whether it is in Africa, whether it is anywhere around the world, wherever there's petrol, there is a lot of conflict, right? Now, you can't get petrol for free without bringing some instability in this kind of part of the of petrol, where petrol are being found. And the USA, they know that very well. They need petrol because they don't have it. So since they need petrol, they need to bring conflict to everyone who are found within this Arabic world. So that once you guys are in this fighting, then they'll be able to win. But how are they managing to get all this petrol? I'm gonna elaborate a little bit more about this. So, you know, they'll come and supply you with something. For example, they'll say that, no, you don't want this guy, Mr. Kulbaz. As we're going to help you to take him off on your way. In return for you to do 1, 2, 3 things for us. They'll ask you that more openly. If you agree to their demands, then you guys are good to go. But if it happened that you don't agree to their demands, then that's when they'll consider you or make you become one of their enemy. Now, they've been doing all this because whenever they go in the Middle East, it's for them to supply weapons. It's for them to supply grenades. It's for them to supply any fighting machines so that you guys will keep on killing each other while they're busy making money. But are they only making money out of the petrol which they're collecting from these Middle East areas? No. Actually, they're also making money by selling guns, by selling all these fighting weapons. How do they do so? Of course, they do it because they're the one who get to manufacture all these drones, all these weapons that they're getting to destroy in that Middle East. I'm going to give you a very simple example. Look at what is happening in Ukraine. The war of Ukraine, we all know that is well sponsored or financed by the USA. They give hundreds, thousands of billion of US dollar to sponsor the war in Ukraine. But you'll be surprised if I tell you that actually people of Ukraine, they don't even get all this money. If they give them a certain billions of money, the government of Ukraine will only be able to receive less than 40%. What about more than 60% of the remaining of money? This money remains within the borders of USA. I'll explain how this money gets to remain within the borders of USA. Of course, it will all remains by the fact that the USA are the one who are supplying these weapons to Ukraine. So when they're supplying this weapon to Ukraine, they are buying it from the USA. Now, who's benefiting from all this? Is the government of USA, because they manufacture these weapons, they sell it, the money circulate within the US border. It does not go anywhere. They make sure that whatever they give you as a donation, whatever they give you as a sponsorship, that money, it has to remain within their borders. And do you know what this money will do for the fact that it continue remaining within the borders of the USA? It's going to create more jobs, because the more demands that the outside countries need, like fighting weapons, the USA government, after they release that money, they'll take the whole tenders, they'll give it to these countries which are found within the borders of the USA. These countries, these companies, they're the one who get to pay tax to the USAs, okay? These companies, if they get more demands or many orders, they'll have to hire many people, and the more people they hire, the less unemployment number the government of the USA will have. And once they hire more people, who's going to be in the win of everything? Of course, to be the president, because he knows how to play his geopolitics. And that's how they've been doing for all this time, especially in the Middle East. Now, the trade between Israel and Iran, it had reached to another level, to the point that Iran wants to be in charge of everything when it comes in the Middle East, because they believe they have their big brother, which is the USA. On the other side, we are having Iran, who does not want to lash, because they know that the day they will bow or obey to whatsoever Israel is trying to put on the table or to impose on them, that is the day they will lose that leadership they've been having for all these years. And they will lose all these countries who believe or who trust the Republic of Iran. Now, obviously, Iran will want to resist. Against who? Not only against Israel, but against the USA, who want to come and impose the leadership in that Arabic regions. Now, the fact that Iran keep on resisting against the USA and Israel, this end up now bringing whatever you guys are seeing on your screen. This end up escalating the war. It was first, we're first talking about what is happening in Palestine. Now we're talking about what is happening in Lebanon. Tomorrow we'll be talking about Iraq, because they've already been in Syria. So you will see already that the conflict that is happening right now in the Middle East is not something that people of Middle East want to have, but it's something that which is being imposed on them, because there is an outsider who comes in and be able to sell his merchandise. And that outsider is the USA, it is the British, and so on and so on. Now, Iran, you could see that it's not dealing with one country. Iran end up realizing that they're dealing with many countries out there. And they need now support. And where will this support comes from? If not from their allies. So that is how you see now Iran, the new president, start traveling, going to all his allies to make sure that in case if this war had to escalate, can we still count on you? Can you be able to help us? And this time, the president of Iran, obviously, is doing also part of the BRICS summit. But Before the BRICS summit, this man had to go and speak with Vladimir Putin, who's their number one allies, by reminding them first that no, so far we managed to help you in your conflict between you and Ukraine. And now on our side, things are getting another directions. So can we be able to count on you? Can you be able to help us? And guess what was the answer of President Vladimir Putin? The answer of Vladimir Putin was very simple. He said to the president of Iran that Russia is not intending to abandon you from this conflict. If, he repeatedly said that, if Israel or USA attacks you, well, we will be left without no choice than to support you in any way possible, whether it is through militaries, whether it is through fighting weapons, we will have to support you. Now, this is a very big, or should I say, a very strong message when it comes to the world of politics. I'll tell you why. We all know that Russia is being attacked by the USA and NATO countries through Ukraine. As I always like to tell you here at Cool Buzz TV, that one good things or the USA they've put on place in order for them to remain that strong as they seem to be is for the fact that they like to protect their borders, or in other words, their country. They're protecting it from it being destroyed in case if there's a fight or anything. So what they usually do is that if they're having conflict with you and they want to fight you, or maybe they want to remove you in power, they will come and use one of your countries, neighboring country, or they will come and fight you within your borders, so that whatsoever can be like a damage, it should not affect them, so that whoever's gonna end up get hurt during this fight, it should not affect Americans. And that's how they did it with Ukraine. Americans, they are attacking Russia through Ukraine by using Ukraine as a middle field for them to fight Russia. So whatever consequences that Ukraine people are surviving right now, it has nothing to do with Americans, because it does not even affect them. Okay? So they do this and they enjoy doing it. That's the reason why you see, after they had imposed their sanctions, false sanctions against Russia, they make sure that they seized all Russia assets. And as we're talking right now, just because they're running out of money to sponsor Ukraine, they are now busy collecting from these assets that they had confiscated from Russia Republic. And the reason being, they are saying that no, we confiscate this money and we are going to give it to Ukraine so that they can rebuild their country from all the destructions that Russia had, from everything that Russia have destroyed. But when we look in the reality of what this money is being used for, they are using it to buy the weapons again from America in order for them to fight Russia. So the man does not even do what they had make people believe out there. So that's what USA with its allies they like to enjoy. That's why you see there's a lot of fight in Africa, there's a terrorist, there's a this and that. All these things that are happening around the world, you're not going to find them in Europe, you're not going to find them in the USA. Why? Because it is the strategy that they've put in place. Like, no, look, we don't need to destabilize our economy. We don't need to destroy our country. We don't need to kill our people. Let's use these people as a example, people that we can destroy and kill them. That's why you see all of conflict is all over around the world. So now, when they went in the Middle East and put that kind of threat, in response for Iran to come forward, Iran also decided to come forward and start talking to their allies, preparing for the big war which is up to come. And having a country such as Russia coming forward, a country which already they are considering the US as their enemies because they know very well that it is the US who is fighting them. And they've been wanting to see on how they can attack the USA directly, but they have not get that opportunity so far. Well, they are now also trying to extend their wings by seeing on which field they can be able to fight the USA as much the USA is using other countries to fight them. And if Iran come forward and offer themselves as the proper candidates for Russia to attack the USA, well, that was an opportunity which Vladimir Putin find that it was very good, and that's why he had that courage to tell him that, no, we are ready, and we are ready. Now, let's say if Russia gets involved in the Middle East conflict, because this is one of the things that they have condemned so far, and they call for peace. But just because we are dealing with a big brother in the world who does not want to listen to other countries or to other leaders because they believe they're super powerful, well, Russia, it's also getting that as a good opportunity for them to see on how they can attack the USA. But let's think together and look around. If Russia have to get involved in all this, who will support Russia? Who are Russia allies? And what do they have that they can bring to the table today in case if things have to escalate down? Because when we are talking about Israel, we are seeing USA, we are seeing British. Let's count France out because we all saw how Emmanuel Macron had to attack the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, reminding him on how he's busy killing people. He even called all the international aides, such as the USA, United Nations, and everyone, to stop sponsoring them because they're busy killing innocent people. And we also in return on how Benjamin Netanyahu had to come also and say some harsh words on President Macron by reminding him that it's just a small boy. So the relationship already between France and Israel, it is not at that good shape, right? Now, France is out. Germany, I'm not too sure. I have not seen them getting involved in all this. I don't know whether they are, which side they are actually. But let's just put British and the USA. They are the countries which are in the front line, who are busy supporting the war in the Middle East. And their only reasons they're giving is that no, it's because they are fighting against terrorists. Okay? And we all know that these people, they can't attack you without providing you reasons. They'll come up with something fake. They'll tell you on how you are violating democracy, how you don't respect human rights, blah, 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 blah. They'll come and try to preach you things which they don't even apply on their own. Because talking about democracy, which democracy are them respecting? Because we can see what is happening in their countries. For the first time in the history of the USA, we're having presidents such as Donald Trump contesting the elections, saying that the result was stolen. We also saw how people get killed that day when they had to protest. In Europe, we can't even mention about it. Talking about the right, respecting the right of human right. Guys, have you seen what they're doing in Palestine? Have you seen on how people are being killed each and every day around the world? It is under their watch. Because that they want a person who, let me put it this way, a person who believes in democracy, a person who believes in the right of other human, you don't go around creating some conflict which will cause a humanity life. The moment when you decide to go around and bring conflict and putting people killing each other, then which means you don't respect human rights. I just demonstrate here on you for you in white and black on how the US is benefiting from the war in the Middle East. So, do you think these people, they care about other people's life? No. So they should not come and preach us about democracy or about the human right, how to respect it. No. Because they're the first one who usually like to break these kind of things. Now, they come with these strategies. They put it on the table. They will tell you that, no, we're doing this for your own good. We're here to protect people, blah, 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 blah. That is just an excuse for them to have an easy access to whatsoever they're intending to take from you or from your country. And they've been doing all this now. Russia on their side, for the fact now that they are working together with Iran. Their partners were having countries such as China. We all know when it comes to the world of economy, what does China represent to the world? There's no comment about that. When it comes to army, we all know what China represents to the world. When it comes to the fighting weapons, we all know what they represent to the world. Let's put that aside. We have countries such as Venezuela. You guys, you saw how good Vladimir Putin with the president of Venezuela, they've been like walking around the whole time during this BRICS summit. Venezuela is one of the countries which does not get along with the USA as well, because they've been under the USA sanctions for many years. They've been fighting over there because of the petrol, which Venezuela did not want to allow the Americans to be in control of. And as I said again, these people, if they come to you, they tell you what to do and you disobey them, you'll be considered as their enemy number one. So, you can see already how the relationship between Venezuela and the USA looks like. And if one of their allies is being attacked, you can have an idea of what will happen next. They are having countries such as Cuba. That one is a 000 point something zero. Enemy number one of the USA. Proof to that, they've been enemies for half a century. Until when Barack Obama came in power and he tried to fix things a little bit, just in the way that an American can visit Cuba and a Cuban can also visit America, but that relationship it did not even last for 3 years, because it was all about now them spying on each other, and America want to benefit from that relationship by sending their people to Cuba so that they can go ahead and start spying on Cuba politics, like a secret service. Cuba in return, they're like, no, we're not going to keep quiet. They want also to send their people. So since USA, they did not want to have Cubans spying on their politics and everything, they stopped that relationship. Recently, you saw how they had a serious problem, all just because Cuba allowed China militaries to go and do some training in one of the lake, which is close to Miami. And they were so nervous, they start accusing China already for them. They were like, hey, be careful of these Chinese. They want to put some satellites here close to our province or state so that they can be able to start spying on us. Okay, so all these countries, of course, there are many countries, but I'm just talking about those powerful countries. One more before I even get to forget. North Korea, one of the biggest Russia and Iran allies. And these people with their short men, they are so desperate for war. All these nuclear bombs they've been producing over there in North Korea, the short man, Kim Jong-un, is so determined, like he's so thirsty, he just want to practice. He want to test all these weapons. But you can't be testing it wire just like that. No, you need to test it on other nations. And remember, in the previous video we had made for you guys, we explain you the reasons why they had stopped producing nuclear weapons. And one of the reasons was that having a nuclear weapons is like having a last word to say to other nations. And I gave you example of a round table. You imagine you are playing a card, even when we used to be childhood. Actually, that's my true story. We playing cards, we're betting, and then it happened that one of my friend, I finished whole whatever we're betting, we're using some elastics to bet with. And this guy got so angry to the point that he did not want to allow me to go to my place. He want to fight me so that he can take everything that I have won from him. And the next things, he had to come up with a weapon, which was a razor, to threaten me that if I don't give him whatever I win from him, he was going to tear me apart. So that is how weapons, nuclear weapons works like. You'll be sitting there, and the next things, the US will be like, hey, I'm going to destroy you in a second. They're doing that. Why? Because they know that they have nuclear weapons. And nuclear weapons is a weapon which, once they launch it can wipe the entire country. It can kill many people, including even the president. Even if you go under the ground, it depends the height that you have to go deep down. But otherwise, it's something that it dig the ground and bury each and everything that are found on the surface and bury it down. That's how powerful these weapons they looks like. So, North Korea, they've been producing them because they believe that in order for them to stand against the oppressors, which is the USA, it is by them having these nuclear weapons. Even though the United Nations, they have decided to stop producing these nuclear weapons. Guys, if you are watching this video until now, I believe it's because you find something beneficial. So please like this video. I really do appreciate that, okay? Like this video and share your comment in the comment section. Tell us also what you think about what we're discussing here. So back to what I was saying. North Korea knows very well that in order for them to resist, and in order for them to remain as a sovereign country which have something to be fear of, they need to be in possession of these nuclear bombs. On other side, the USA with its allies which have this nuclear bomb, countries such as France or British, they went on to the United Nations, since it is one of their fighting tools which they have put in place in order for them to come forward and dominate other nations around the world by imposing sanctions and so on and so on. This organization came up and forbid people from not producing these nuclear bombs. So North Korea, they're like, no, if we listen to this UN chat and what, we'll be destroyed by Americans. What can we do? Let us have our own nuclear bombs. That's why you guys saw whenever they produce a new nuclear bombs, they have to go and test it. Like yesterday, before I even go far, yesterday, Kim Jong went and on the site visits, like to go and see new missile, which they had produced again. So when the USA with its allies, they're busy putting a lot of conflict around the world here and then, well, it seemed like their enemies, they are also not sleeping. They are kind of like working, preparing. So each and every country out there who knows that they don't get along with the USA, they are kind of like working hard and preparing themselves so that they can come and be ready for any kind of attack which the USA can come and put on them. And this North Korea, as I was saying, it is one of the Russia allies. It is one of Iran allies. So, with all these countries that I just mentioned, can you now have an idea on how things will look like if USA with Israel, they attack Iran? Because what we've managed to see so far is these things of them attacking you, and yet they don't want, okay, let me not even say attacking you, but it's these things of them supporting a country to attack you, yet they don't want the country that, yet they don't want you to be having other country to support you. You guys, you saw on how they scare all the countries in the United Nations, saying that any country that will try to provide weapons to Russia, then they will have also to have a serious problem with the USA. They did so, of course, but instead of this country to obey to them, you know what they did? They prefer to remain neutral. But they forgot that there were countries which them they had put or placed on sanctions. And here we're talking about countries such as Iran, countries such as North Korea, so on and so on. These countries, now since they are under the sanctions, they don't care. They don't care. That's why you see Iran, it is supporting Russia with drones. Why? Because whatever they can decide to say now to Iran, they don't care. Iran, they don't care. So, guys, things are not looking good at all. Because Iran recently, you also on how they launched more than 200 missiles in Egypt. And they were doing all this in response as Egypt had went through their country to assassinate one of the Hamas leader who was found inside there. Now, Iran had said that they will revenge, and they did that. So Israel, they were like, no, we're gonna also take revenge, like we're gonna reply back. Well, Iran, after sending those missiles, they said to the government of Netanyahu that if you try to respond back, because don't forget, for us to launch this missile, it's because you have provoked us. You came in within our border as a sovereign country without any diplomat relationship, because as far as I remember, you won't find any embassy of Israel in Iran or any embassy of Iran in Israel. So before Israel get to go within Iran, they should have think twice. They should have looked what kind of relationship the two countries have. But unfortunately, Israel, they did not think of that. They just jump in, they assassinate the leader of Hamas, and they go back. Now, this leader of Hamas was there in Iran for a mission. First of all, he was there to participate in the new inaugurations of the new president of Iran. Remember, their president, or should I say prime minister, I don't know how they call each other over there, who died in a helicopter, which still again have to be verified, because remember, when you're having a lot of enemy out there, you don't know which one is going to kill you and how they'll make your death look like. So it can be maybe another way of him being assassinated. You never know, because we are talking about people who have enemies, who even killed some of their leaders. Do you remember on how Hassan Soleimani was killed? He was killed in Syria by the USA under Donald Trump, who have to order his car to be bombarded. Beside him, they are killing many people. Yesterday you saw how Israel, they are coming forward to confirm on how they have killed the leader of here where in Lebanon. The leader of this group, is it about what? I forgot the name. My guys, you can remind me in the comment. So the point I'm trying to say is that you don't know who can be your enemy, and you don't know once they kill you, how they can make your death look like. So the leader of Hamas, he was going there to participate in this inauguration and seek also some help from the government of Iran. But unfortunately, Israel have to go there and kill him. So in return, the government of Iran, they want to revenge, and they did so. Now, Israel was planning to go ahead and revenge them. And they say, if you try, then you must just know that that is it. So since now Israel in the Middle East, they have made themselves a lot of enemies. not only from Palestine, not only from Lebanon, but we're talking about countries such as Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, so on and so on. All these countries, they are under the leadership of Iran. There are countries which believe in Iran leadership. So if Israel have to go ahead with the USA, with the British, to go and attack Iran or to reply back to Iran, of course it's going to open a big border for all these other small countries to start now dealing with Israel directly. Okay? Because it is all about the leadership of Arabics or Muslims who are found over there. You guys, we even saw Turkey, which is part of the Europe, yet they turn their back. They turn their backs on these organizations, whether it's a G20 or G7. They are now going forward to join BRICS, and obviously they've been condemning whatsoever Israel was doing over there, and they even promised that if it need for them to defend people of Palestine with weapons, they will do so. Now, imagine once Israel opened all those doors, these countries will go ahead and deal with Israel. And once their big brother, which is the USA, try to come in, that is when other nations such as Russia, China, North Korea, Cuba, Venezuela, they'll also come in. And once they come in, can you imagine now how will this world look like tomorrow? So that is something that needs to be avoided, because the killing of innocent people is something that needs to be avoided by everyone. The killing of innocent people is not something that is benefiting anyone, actually. And I think the USA, they should just try to understand that the entire world, they have understand the kind of games. You see how things have turned so badly for them in Africa continent? Because we are talking about the same African leaders who used to be used as their puppets, whereby if they don't like you, they'll fight you by all means. They organize a military coup to come and destroy you and everything. So they always come and impose you and tell you how to do things around. But they never come to talk to you as a friend and tell you, like, no, look, we see you have a problem of unemployment. You see you have a problem of 1, 2, 3, 4. What about if we help you in this way? They don't do that. So Africans with the entire world, they have actually understand this game, and they're like, no. We can't continue dealing with this kind of people. We need to do something more different. And we can do this by first stop denying or stop obeying to their commands. And that's how you see now each and every African leaders, they are trying to isolate themselves from their former colonials, whether it is France, or British, or America, or Germany, Italy. They are trying to isolate themselves and keep themselves far away from these people. Why? Because there is no a leader at the moment who want to be seen as a puppet. There's not a leader who want to be disrespected by his people, all just because they have noticed that our president is having something to do with our former colonials. Now, the more the USA with its allies, their leadership keep on failing in Africa continent. On the other side, you are seeing countries such as China and Russia, they are coming in. They are coming in and are well welcomed by these countries. Why? Because they kind of respect these countries that are receiving from countries such as Russia and China are far much better than the one of their former colonial. You guys, you saw recently the president of Venezuela who went over, who sent his delegates in Burkina Faso. Why is this country approaching Burkina Faso, especially right now, under the leadership of Ibrahim Traore? It's for the simple reasons. We all know that whatsoever has been happening in Burkina Faso or in Africa continent, it is because We are in the possession of something that the world needs today, but unfortunately, we've never been in control of it. And now that countries such as Burkina Faso, Niger, Mali, and so on and so on, they are coming forward to make sure that they are in control of these minerals. Countries such as Burkina Faso with Ibrahim Traore, who had to come and stop the British companies which was producing the gold in Burkina Faso and say that, no, look, from now on, we're not going to give you the license anymore. You are not allowed to take our minerals. These companies are going to be the state companies. In other words, it is the government of Burkina Faso which will have now to start naming up the price of these minerals, and they will sell it to any country of the world, any country of their choice. And this is something that is destroying now the West, because the more conflicts keep on reigning in the Middle East, the more needs they need from Africans. Or should I say, the more minerals they'll need to collect from Africa continent. Now that Africa, they are busy closing their hands and saying that, no, enough, it is enough. We rather find another new alternative in order for us to trade with or deal with than having people such as you who don't even care about the interest of Africans. Well, that's something that is driving the Western insane. They are going crazy right now. Now, on the other side, the same Vladimir Putin with Russia or China, they're the one who are benefiting from all these countries. You guys, you saw in the video which I made for you, showing you in white and black on how the USA Senate sat down to start judging the military general who they had sent, that delegations they had sent in Africa, especially in Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, in order for them to go and reverse everything around, like turn things around by removing this military government and replace them with someone else. They did all these things, and their mission was failed. They could not be able to succeed because they end up realizing that these countries, they've become independent to the point that they don't even listen to anyone. And they have exposed the mafia of the USA out there. That was something that these people did not take it lightly. So they were busy judging them. How can you go there? You are being welcomed by some generals instead of you being welcomed by the president. Blah, 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 blah. They said all those things. Why? Because these people, this former colonial, they were all used to always come in Africa and, sending their delegates in Africa. And then they'll be welcomed in the red carpet by the head of the states of Africans. But when the head of the state goes to Europe or America, they are sending some secretary generals or some delegates who have to go and welcome them. See the kind of things that we used to experience as Africans. They will go there, the next things they'll be like, no, we're calling for a US Africa Summit, UK Africa Summit, France Africa Summit, German Africa Summit. And the worst part is that our leaders, they'll pack their bags with their expensive costume to go over there and listen to their nonsense. Why can't we also say that, no, this time it is about Ethiopia Europe Summit, or South Africa Europe Summit, or maybe Africa US Summit, which have to be organized here, and we call Biden, he come here, he sat down and he listened to what we have to tell him. Why it has to be only them who have to come up with, oh, summit, what, hey, what, summit, and our leaders keep on going. So they're like those sheep that they need a shepherd, who have to show them the way around. If you push them one side, they go one side. But the good parts of all these guys, I have to admit this, is that in our days, those things are no longer possible. Whenever African leaders are being invited somewhere, whether it's in China, whether it is anywhere which has nothing to do with Africa, some of them, they don't go anymore. Instead of them going, they'll send in their foreign ministers or their prime ministers. Check recently all the activities that happen around the world. Someone such as Ibrahim Traore did not go anywhere. You know why? Because that man, he has made it very clear. He said he has nothing to do with the oppressors. Nothing, nothing. No matter how powerful you are. So, and I remember watching one of his interview where he says that it's kind of like beside him following the good step of our African liberators, in our daily time, is also following the strategy, the one of Kim Jong. That man, you're never gonna see him anyway. Even if you invite him, he does not go. He rather prefer to send his delegates. So that is another way of you giving yourself value. So that when that day comes, if you have to travel somewhere and they see you there, they'll be afraid of you. They'll respect you. They'll see you properly. And that's something I think each and every African leader should be considering. Each and every leader should know that you deserve at least that value. And you can't have that value if you don't make your own efforts. So, we shall wait and see what will happen. Because looking at how things are sitting so far from the Middle East, Israel was supposed to be attacking back on Iran. They have not done so. Because I believe they are also scared, as I demonstrated here to you, that they are scared because they already made a lot of enemy in the Middle East. So they rather prefer to deal with one country one by one, like they started with Palestine, and now they're in Lebanon, tomorrow they'll be somewhere else, rather than them just going to attack the big fish in town. And once they do that, these other small countries will come in, and once they come in, well, Israel will be in the past. So, Vladimir Putin had given his words to the president of Iran. And this is a very big strategy which Vladimir Putin is trying to put on the table by telling the Western that you guys have been fighting me and you are hiding yourself behind Ukraine. But me also this time with Russia, we are going to hide ourselves behind someone else. That's a clear message that Vladimir Putin tried to pass there. So guys, the BRICS summit is still continuing. We still gonna come back with more breaking news as they will be following on the table, and we'll bring you more analysis about that. But for now, I think that's what we prepared for you, because it was a breaking news which dropped on our table, and we feel like we can come in and have a conversation. So please do us a favor before you leave. Make sure that you hit that like button, like this video in your numbers. We really do appreciate that. It's free of charge. We just want this message to reach many more people out there. But if you find anything beneficial here and you would like to hear from us in our next video, well, it is very simple. You just have to hit that subscribe button so that whenever we're here live, you'll be able to catch up with us. This is a very big family of Cool Buzz TV. And we thank everyone who remain loyal to our channel, everyone who've been supporting us through financially or anything like that, through the comment section. We really do thank you for everything. So let's wait and see what will happen, because the problem is that this war, if it continue, it will really destroy a lot of families out there. It will really destroy the economies of many countries out there. Because we all know that where there is no peace, where there's no security, there's a lot of drama, there's a suffering, there's instabilities, there's a lot of bad things that can happen in such places. So let's wait and see. Maybe looking at how these both sides, countries that are busy now sending each other loud message of showing each other on how ready they are for war. Well, maybe it's gonna just stop all this nonsense. Or maybe it also need to take place, because if it takes place and it happened that one day The Americans, they wake up and find themselves in a very crazy things like what is happening in the Middle East. I don't want to mention the name because this video might end up getting banned, but you know what I mean. Something crazy like just taking place. You will understand that no, maybe it's gonna teach them a lesson, and they will understand that no, whatever we're doing to other people out there is not something that we need to wish for ourselves. So we shall wait and see, guys. But that will be all, guys. Thank you so much for your time. For now, continue to be yourself, be good, be kind, have respect for everyone in order for you to be respected. May God bless you all. Ciao, ciao.